A Space Marine handles a lot. Diplomatic negotiations, extermination, disciplinary action, group therapy, and the occasional war. So I'm here to get you up to speed with some combat tips, some of which the Space Marine manual doesn't even reveal to you. And I'm going to break down all of the classes so you can figure out which occupation is best suited for you. Because today, you're a Space Marine too. Alright, first thing you'll want to know is which of your attacks break through block and interrupt enemy actions. If you bring up the main menu, it'll list all of the available combos for the melee weapon you have equipped. The attacks with the armor cracking symbol will be able to break through enemies that can block, like these enemies with the 2 swords. Those heavier attacks can also interrupt enemies, like when they're calling for reinforcements, indicated by that skull symbol above their head. If you're close enough, a quick melee interrupt is often faster than trying to shoot them out of it. Performing these fancy finisher attack animations has 3 purposes. 1. It guarantees dead. 2. It'll earn you back a charge of armor, which is the gauge right underneath your health bar. And 3. It'll completely refill any contested health you might have. Contested health is the white temporary damage that you can earn back by quickly retaliating before it drains. Timing an aerial parry on a smaller enemy will also give you back a charge of armor and repair recent health loss. Now the last thing you want to be in the Warhammer universe is a modestly armored human. Don't even waste your ammo on these guys, because a Space Marine can simply just sprint right through and instantly squish any human grunts. This is more satisfying than I'm comfortable to admit.
This excavation should lead to the Mechanicus compound.
You'll need to know why melee weapons change to different defensive properties, listed right here. There's balance, block, and fencing. Balance type lets you perfect parry incoming attacks if you time it right. Block type doesn't have the ability to perfect parry, but it can still mitigate incoming hits. And fencing type widens the perfect parry window, making it easier to time compared to balance. Instead of perfect parries, you could go for perfect dodges instead, which set up for a quick auto-targeted gun strike if you time it right. So dodge at the last moment, tap the shoot button when you see the red crosshair over the enemy's face, and season to taste. This one's simple. Space Marines are infatuated with groupings of green boxes because they always have guaranteed snacks hidden inside. Usually health kits, ammo, grenades, or an armor booster. Armor boosters will increase your armor gauge to have 4 segments, but these are also a great way to rapidly refill your entire armor gauge if it's depleted. Maybe sometimes leave some armor boosters laying around in boss arenas or holdout points to pop them after you fully used up your initial armor charges. At certain points during operation missions, you'll come across these terminals that let you change your equipped loadout. However, if you don't want to switch, at least re-pick your current loadout, since that's an easy way to top off your ammo reserves. There's a few things you should take the time and actually search for during operations. One is the gene seed hidden somewhere on the map. If you carry this on you to the end of the mission, your entire team will love you since it nets everyone extra bonus experience. But if the person carrying the gene seed gets downed just once, it'll break and your team will hate you instead. Another thing to keep an eye socket out for are these floating skulls that provide Armory data. These give you a currency that is used to upgrade your weapons to higher tiers, which also lets you unlock more of their associated skill tree. You're gonna want these. If you're trying to upgrade something to the Artificer or Relic rarities though, you will need to bump up the difficulty to Substantial and then Ruthless to earn the Armory data required. Now I'm going to break down the different classes you can use in operation missions and PvP. Tactical is an armor rank 3 class, that's 3 notches on their armor gauge, and it can use the widest range of primary weapons. The Tactical's main ability is Auspex Scan, which paints the targets in a highlighted bubble, making them more susceptible to damage. Tactical is a good all-around class. It's easy to use, the Auspex Scan can help the entire team, and it can equip a lot of different weapon types. Some of its standout class perks starts with Final Shot, which automatically reloads your weapon after performing a finisher. Kraken Penetration rounds makes bolt weapons penetrate through an additional enemy. And Battle Focus will automatically mark an enemy with Auspex Scan after you perfect parry them. Its team perks reduce recoil for the entire squad, increase everyone's ranged damage, or boost the recovery of the squad's contested health. And for its signature skills, it gets Signal Jammer, which makes it so Auspex-scanned enemies can't call for reinforcements. Radiating Impact makes melee finishers inflict AoE damage around the target. And Marked for Death lets you insta-kill Majoris or Extremis level enemies with a headshot if they're marked with Auspex Scan. The Assault is another Armor Rank 3 class, but this one can't use primary weapons, making it more focused on melee combat. The Assault's main ability is the Jump Pack, which has two functions. You can tap it to dash on the ground, or hold it to leap into the air and then slam down with a melee attack. The Assault is an aggressive class that gets to play right on the front line, and it's also the only class that gets to wield the gratifying electrified Warhammer. Standout perks. Active Attrition makes melee damage enemies take increased damage for a few seconds. Wings of Flame makes the Jump Pack dash actually inflict damage along its path. And Aerial Grace makes it so you can use the dash to perfect dodge, and if you do, you get a large damage boost. Team perks. This one makes everyone's abilities recharge faster, deal more melee damage against Terminus level enemies, and do increased damage with gun strike retaliations. Signature perks. Assault gets ample ammunition, which reloads your weapon when you use the Jump Pack. Ascension makes the Jump Pack Leap deal damage around its takeoff point. And Commitment restores a charge of the Jump Pack if you perfect dodge with its dash. The Vanguard is a lighter Armor Rank 2 class that can use a few different primaries and a sidearm with two melee options. The Vanguard's main ability is the Grapple Launcher, which can be used to latch onto someone and come flying in with a physics-defying kick. The Vanguard is a mid to frontliner, and riskier to play compared to the Assault class since it only has 2 armor bars, but the Vanguard does get some useful traits of its own. With Consecutive Execution, if you kill enough enemies in quick succession, you can earn back an equipment charge. And Collateral Damage makes it so the grapple deals damage along the way to the target. Team perks. All of the squad deals extra melee damage. Melee finishers on Extremis enemies restore some health to everyone, and abilities recharge for anyone that performs a finisher. Signature perks. Tactical Prowess restores a charge of the grapple if you use it on an enemy that's set up to be finished. Emperor's Blessing saves you from death on a cooldown by refilling your armor instead of taking that lethal damage. And Adrenaline Rush. Melee kills on Majoris or higher rank enemies restore some health. The Bulwark is an Armor Rank 3 class, and it doesn't get access to a primary weapon, but it is able to rock a shield and the Power Sword. Bulwark's ability is Chapter Banner, which places an area of effect regen of armor for anyone standing near it. This class can either hold up their shield to block or shield bash with it, and sprinting will automatically guard from the front. This is another right up in the mix frontline class that can act as the team's tank and provide support with its banner. Class perks. Armor of Contempt makes blocked range damage reflect back and hurt nearby enemies. Defensive Advantage creates a shock area on the ground around you after you land a perfect parry. Rejuvenating Effect makes the Chapter Banner able to instantly revive anyone near it. And Inspiration increases everyone's outgoing damage near the banner. Team perks, making armor regenerate faster for the squad, contested health will fade slower for everyone, and a reduction to health damage from Terminus level enemies. Signature perks, Emergency Countermeasure makes a shock grenade detonate around you when your armor depletes. Defensive Mastery will instantly incapacitate Majoris or Extremis level enemies you've perfect parried. And Armored Advance protects you from some knockback of heavy hits if you have armor remaining. The Sniper is a lighter Armor Rank 2 class that has the hardest hitting single fire attacks of the whole squad, with 1 secondary and 1 melee. The Sniper also gets the Camo Cloak, which lets you go invisible for a period of time. A Sniper is best suited for initiating ambushes and then falling back to headshot anything that survives. This will likely be the teammate doing the most damage but getting the least credit since they're hanging on the back line. The Sniper's perks, Vantage Point, increases primary damage when you stand still for a couple of seconds. Targeted Shot makes your first ranged attack while cloaked deal increased damage, and Tactical Ambush does the same but for melee attacks. Team perks, increase headshot damage for the entire squad, reduce weapon spread for everyone, and make headshots regenerate some ability charge. Signatures, Evasion makes perfect dodges trigger Cloak without using a charge. Emergency Override will save you from lethal damage on a cooldown, kicking in a cloak and giving you some damage reduction. And Pattern of Excellence earns back an equipment charge when you land consecutive headshots. Last is the Heavy, which is an Armor rank 3 class that comes equipped with giant two-handed primary weapons, but doesn't get access to a traditional melee weapon. The Heavy can activate Iron Halo, which plops out a forward-facing shield that absorbs incoming damage. Its large primary weapons also function as a melee weapon, since they have their own close-range moveset. The Heavy is going to do a lot of damage to spectacular effect, and its shielding ability makes it the class you'll likely want to be standing behind. Class perks. Overwhelming Power makes the Iron Halo ability increase damage for teammates that are near it. And Emperor's Protection recharges a segment of armor for the entire squad when Iron Halo depletes. Team perks. Reduces range damage for everyone, increases ammo capacity for the squad, and makes picking up someone that's incapacitated restore them back to full health. Signatures. Offensive Capability makes Iron Halo deal damage over time to nearby enemies. Coolant Reserve makes your primary weapon not overheat when both of your teammates are incapacitated or grabbed. And Conversion Field gives some ability charge to allies that are near activation of Iron Halo. Alright, which class you gonna choose? And also let me know what your favorite all-time Warhammer weapon is. Curious. Before I go though, I invented a little Warhammer 40k minigame you can play with your friends, family, enemies, or recently deceased. The objective, you have 30 seconds to count as many skulls in the environment as you possibly can. Okay, I'll go first. 1 skull. 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 Okay, skull. Skull. And that's 53. Beat that. Okay, you're free to go now. I'm Alex, and thanks for checking this out today.